There is always a lot that goes around in the wild that you'd have to see to believe it. From unimaginably brutal hunts to incredible animals and vicious feeding frenzies. Here are some of the crazy events that, if were not filmed, you'd have a hard time believing them. If you never feel bad for what comes to a snake, this certainly will make an exception. A clip from February 2023 that was taken at the Mala Mala Game Reserve shows a confrontation where a bush shrike bird ripped out a boomslang snake's eyes after attacking relentlessly. Despite the snake being venomous and twice the size of the bird, it couldn't stop this real-life angry bird from attacking.
That big as one eye.
Considering the dedication of this attacking bird, it certainly seems like it's something personal. Although these caimans have a body tissue as thick as any alligator, these piranhas eating through look like a hot knife through butter. While out boating in a river close to the Amazon rainforest, this group of piranhas approached a deceased caiman carcass and started eating through it. Within seconds, the tough reptile's lower abdomen was eaten through. Which, at this speed, could surely be eaten completely within a matter of a few minutes. Although this is an actual bear, considering the manner of how it was behaving, it created a sense of doubt among the visitors. Footage from August 2023 taken at the Hangzhou Zoo shows a Malayan sun bear named Angela standing straight on its back legs. With its hand gestures, loose skin on the back, and general body language, it made most visitors question if it was actually a real bear or just a guy in a costume. The controversy got to an extent that many started to think that the bear suit was too big and fake, that the zoo officials had to swear that they weren't trolling visitors. These small cheetahs, right from birth, are dedicated to having their hunting skills sharpened. A tour guide during an evening game drive in Ngorongoro Conservation Area, Tanzania, recorded a moment of intense hunting attempts made by newborn cheetah cubs against a newborn gazelle. Although the mother cheetah was around, she didn't intervene, knowing that the baby gazelle is weak enough for her cubs to practice their hunting lessons on. The cheetah cubs, which were estimated to be no more than 2 months old, could be seen having to rely on their instinct almost immediately to jump onto its back and get a hold over its throat. No matter how strong the jaws of a crocodile are, everything has a breaking point. This single-jawed crocodile was spotted by Nat Geo's Outback Wrangler, Matt Wright, in Australia's Northern Territory. That left everyone astonished at first, seeing more than half of its upper jaw missing, and was also reported to be having one of its arms bitten off. The giant, gnarly crocodile was hungry as a consequence of its injuries, making the visitors wanting to feed it.
There you go. There you go.
Crocodile experts share that these massive reptiles sustain such severe injuries in fierce battles with other crocs to mate, but have to endure with their injuries till their last day. After spotting a shark, most would concur the idea of getting out of the water. This guy, however, saw it as a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity. A really old clip taken in May 2008 of an unidentified man who tosses his surfing board into the water along with a rod full of bait, waiting for the shark to catch. Once the great white hooks to the bait and attempts to flee, the man starts to use the shark to ski before disengaging and returning back to the shore.
Holy, that rules!
These certainly were not some props, but real venomous snakes that were being freed from captivity. Footage from 2022 was released onto the internet, showing a man somewhere in a forest in India who was emptying huge green bags that were full of cobras. Now, it's not the bags full of snakes that left the viewer shocked, but rather the manner in which he was fearlessly emptying the sack near his feet. Sharks are usually very fast when it comes to swimming, and I guess this is how the shark got caught on a boat. While in the ocean on their boat, some people witnessed a shark flying out of the water and then accidentally got stuck on the boat's deck.
He jumped on the boat! Oh my...
As much as they wanted to help, they could not, as the shark can be pretty dangerous even when helpless and stuck. This newborn baby monkey is probably where the idea of humans evolving from monkeys came from. This footage that was taken in October 2018 at the Chester Zoo, England, shows the moments after a silvery gibbon baby was born. Unlike other monkey species who have hair from the time of the birth, silver gibbon newborns are mostly hairless, seeming quite similar to human babies. According to the estimates of the International Union for Conservation of Nature, silvery gibbons are critically endangered, with fewer than 3,000 adults left in the wild. Researchers were attempting to study animal reaction and behavior using a bait that looks very much like the remains of a real deer, while it was electrified. In hopes to have a quick meal, the bear closes in for the grab, but upon getting stung by the current, it flees. Now, instead of accepting the consequences, the bear makes another attempt, yielding the same result. At this point, after experiencing it twice, you might be done, but it returns once again, but this time manages to knock out the power source and take away the deer. The sheer determination of the bear is what makes them one of the most dangerous animals in the wild. A wild kestrel miscalculated its attempt to get a quick egg breakfast, only to find itself outgunned and outnumbered after finding both the owls within the nest. A camera in an owl's small barn house-like nest on the outskirts of a farm in Israel captured a moment showing a wild kestrel that invaded their home, not knowing that both the owls were present. With it being alone and much smaller in size, the owl couple were easily able to overpower and arrest the intruder. With the kestrel restrained and the owls in total superiority, it stood no chance and attempted to escape. After several failed attempts, the intruder finally escaped. Before we move any further, like this video, subscribe to our channel, and hit the bell icon so you can keep watching our amazing content. This fish was caught escaping after the man left it and went to do some other work. What he did not know was that it was a smart fish which he caught. As soon as the man left, the fish started jumping, and eventually it came to the opening in the ice and went into it. But this isn't the best part of this video. The best is when the fish took the fishing pod along with it, so the man would have no way of catching any of its fellows either.
I can hear a call over here, sort of like, ooh.
A tortoise couple were in the middle of an act when Paul rose. An explorer curiously came closer to investigate and unknowingly interrupted the act while exploring the Assumption Island in 2015. Just by the body language of how the male tortoise looked at the explorer, you can know that it's pissed off after having a month's worth of effort in getting laid washed away. In reaction, it approaches the explorer with slow but fierce rage. The tortoise chased Paul for more than 400 feet, which speaks volumes as to the level of rage of the tortoise after its territory and privacy to mate were violated in seconds. Among all animal species, orangutans seem to be the fastest learners that hold the potential to mimic humans. This video was taken on January 28, 2022 in Dubai at the Menagerie, showing a famous orangutan called Rambo that was driving a golf cart around the Sheikha Fatima Rashid Al Maktoum Wild Animals exhibition. Now, it's not just that this famous orangutan is able to drive in a perfect and civilized manner, but rather the body language, confidence, and swag of having a hang on the roof. With orangutans being fast learners, they could certainly take up some human jobs with adequate training and demonstrations. A heartwarming sight of an adult elephant who, moments after giving birth, was attempting to teach its newborn to stand. A footage from the wilderness was shared on August 1st, 2023, where a mother elephant, soon after giving birth to her calf, was in panic to see its newborn struggling to stand. First, she runs away in confusion, but instantly returns to the calf that was laying on the ground, showing her to be a mix of worry, nervousness, and desperation. mother elephant nudges her baby in hopes to help it stand, which it did in the end by leaning against its mother for support. Be it gators or crocs, they sure have a reputation of being ambush predators that use water to catch unsuspecting victims. But in this case, this caiman reptile was beaten on its own turf. A wildlife expert team was monitoring a jaguar in Brazil's Pantanal wetlands as it interestingly managed to sneak up to a beached reptile by swimming and diving through the stream. Once it was close enough, it caught the unsuspecting caiman by its back, using its powerful jaws before taking it away.
This extraordinary...
The overconfidence got the better of this apex predator to an extent that it didn't realize being small and all alone. A group of friends were kayaking on a midday in September 2018 off the coast of Kaikoura, New Zealand, when several seals started to swim around them seeking prey. One of the seals appeared with an octopus in its mouth, and upon attempting to chew up one of the legs, it ended up tossing it around and slapping one of the kayakers on the face.
Underwater?
Not so good at fishing? Well, there's always a shortcut, just like this guy is doing. A small group of fishermen were recorded using electricity to catch a huge school of Asian carp that jumped out of the water below Barkley Dam in July 2019. Although this technique can make anyone feel like a pro, it is declared illegal, aside from keeping invasive fish species, such as the Asian carp, in check. Now, orcas are the smartest animals to be ever found. Not only are they trained very quickly, they can also speak with and understand humans. However, what this orca did is something incredible. The orca took a fish which had been given to it as a snack and threw it near the seagulls. And then the orca waited until one of the poor seagulls tried getting the fish. The orca had used the fish as a lure, and, well, it succeeded in doing what it had planned, and that too, quite nicely.
Got it!
This is a golden example of how a lone wolf dies, but a pack always thrives. Dive guides near Wolf Island were heading for the dive site in March 2022 when they noticed a pod of orcas that were ravaging on a helpless hammerhead shark. The orcas were taking turns in tearing the shark apart and feeding equally without any sense of competition. Unlike the hammerheads that have a territory and are on top of the food chain in that area, orcas are different. They hunt and constantly move in teams with their location solely depending on the currents and instinct. These instincts lead them to traveling in and around almost everywhere around the planet. This is another case of orcas hunting down a shark that stood no chance despite its struggle to fight back. In July 2021, orca biologists were tracking a pod of orcas to study their behavior and movements when they found the pod circling around and intimidating a lone 7-gill shark off the coast of New Zealand. Orcas initiate the attack by karate chopping the shark using their tail to whack at its back, before flanking the shark and ripping its pectoral fin under the pectoral girdle to extract its liver. With orcas greater in size, numbers, and working together, that shark stood no chance. From the manner of how this baby confronted the leopard, it is almost as if it were avenging its mom from the very predator that must have eaten her up. In June 2023, during a tour in a wild reserve somewhere in South Africa, a tourist managed to capture a moment when a baby buck came out from hiding and faced off a leopard as if it were trying to fight back by headbutting. The leopard, presumably after feeling the guilt of eating up its mom, decides to look the other way, until it changes its mind and hunts the little one as well. As badass as hammerhead sharks can be, things don't always go their way. In August 2019, beachgoers at Boca Grande filmed a hot pursuit between a pair of bull sharks that attacked a small hammerhead in the shallow waters by the beach. Soon, the tables turned around once the parent hammerhead stepped in for the rescue and scared away the assailants.
Oh my god!
But was too late to save its young and was found missing huge chunks of its body that were chewed off and was bleeding out profusely. While most marine animals stand no chance against these sharks, this stingray beached itself to protect itself from the clutches of the shark. At first, it hides itself beneath the ocean floor, but as the hammerhead was closing in, it broke its cover and made its way to the surface, finding the only means of escape on the beach itself. The incident was recorded by scuba divers and beachgoers by the beach on Heron Island in the Great Barrier Reef. This isn't a case of fishes bullying a turtle, but rather a case of the turtle trespassing within their territory in an attempt to get a mouthful of their eggs. A video taken in August 2013 shows a terrapin in Lake Tanganyika that trespasses to eat the bazillion eggs that kitchlid fish parents had just gotten free from laying. As the turtle briefly attempts to get closer, the kitchlid parents put up a fight, attempting to rip its head apart, while the terrapin uses its shell as a countermeasure until it's hammered with attacks and is pushed away. With both being the birds of prey, a confrontation between the two is inevitable. A brief war rivalry between these two aerial predators was filmed showing a hawk that attacked a nested owl on top of a tree. While no one knows the actual cause of the brawl, both the predators started to fight tooth and nail until the pause when a man who was out walking his dog came to investigate. The owl started to cry out for help while both stared at the recorder, presumably as it was in fear of losing. Later on, the same owl appears in the dead of night to attack the very hawk who was, at the time, fast asleep in its nest. Although fiction can never be the same as reality, sometimes nature has mysterious ways. In October 2016, during a pet sports event in Thailand, organizers set up a race between a hare and a tortoise to put the well-known story to a real-life test. A straight track stretching only a couple of meters was set up, where, interestingly, the hare stopped halfway through, but the tortoise kept moving until it pushed past the finish line. Either this hare's a paid actor, or just wants to stay true to the source material. Judging from the size and poor hearing senses, this eland must have gone blind recently. That's the only reason why it presented itself unknowingly to a pride of lionesses that were in hunting mode and were stalking it at the Kruger National Park. Had it not gone blind recently, it could have spotted the lionesses much earlier, or at least would have developed better hearing capabilities in the meantime. But the poor animal only heard the lions running in on it when it was too late. With it being all alone and blind, the fate of this eland was inevitable. This may seem like a case of nature throwing cushions and trampolines at you, but it can be a curse rather than a blessing. Neighborhood residents from Cambridge Springs, Pennsylvania, discovered a huge watery lawn bubble in their backyards on July 20th, 2015, which shocked some and left everyone else curious.
Just coming out that one part.
These earth pimples, or lawn bubbles, are formed due to the result of air pressure and water getting caught up under the layers of the grass. Scientists reported that these lawn bubbles of this size can be dangerous, as there is a highly likely chance of them turning into small sinkholes. Hyenas aren't just vicious while hunting, but are equally as brutal to other hyenas as well. In March 2020, a field guide that was camping in Ingwalala, Greater Kruger National Park, heard distressed hyena calls nearby, which, when he attempted to investigate, found them to be coming from a riverbed. One of the dominant hyenas was attempting to drown another hyena of a different clan that was looking to change sides, and the dominant hyena wasn't happy about it. The recorder left the area after not being able to fathom the incident, but reported that the rival was later found to be finished off. Either this is benefiting both the fish and the jellyfish, or this is a one-sided relationship. Divers near Guam captured this moment when a juvenile trevally fish was seen entering inside a jellyfish, almost as if it were hijacking it. As the footage went viral, many believed that the fish was helplessly trapped inside a jellyfish. But according to marine scientists, this phenomenon is used by fishes as an additional option to use jellyfish stingers for protection against predators. With what this bear was up to, this is rather a case of instant karma than a mere coincidence. Footage taken by the cabin on the outskirts of Montana shows a moment when a huge brown bear was messing around a water tank and piping out of curiosity when a metallic end of one of the pipes struck its nuts. The hit left the bear immediately abandoning the pipe to walk away, but the hit was so powerful that the bear collapsed to the ground within moments. The footage was captured after the owner placed a camera to investigate the consecutive damages on his water supply after fixing it several times. This picture was taken from a clip on June 20th, 2018, at a village near the Amazon rainforest, showing the moment a troublesome anaconda was taken into custody with use of a trap and a bait to have the huge snake make its move. The video shows the snake moving furiously in the water and trying to get away through a piece of a pipe, where it also entered into a wired loop, restricting its movement, which, when combined with its struggle, trapped the snake as it attempted to get through the pipe to the bait. A wildlife photographer was taking photos of rhinos nearby when one of them decided to get a little closer to the human capturing it. The rhino needed a belly rub, and I guess could not ask any of his fellows, so he went towards the photographer, as he appeared to be the only one who could help. Animals can be quite friendly, especially dogs and cats. But an alligator being friendly with human? That's something people find hard to accept. Getty is one of the friendliest alligators in the world, and we can tell by the way he is enjoying it with the humans, getting treats every time from them. However, the humans are still a bit cautious around the gator, because no matter how friendly it is, it's still an alligator, the extremely quick and agile animals in the water. And let us tell you, orcas aren't the only smart mammals, as when it comes to being intelligent and naughty, the beluga whales are not coming any slower either. For instance, this one. A beluga whale was just trying to have a little fun by teasing the seagull it came across. And the seagull did not seem to be threatened at all either. It did not fly away or anything, just stayed there getting annoyed by the whale. Now, this is one way to promote the idea of choosing first class next time. Footage from March 2019 somewhere in Germany shows a passenger on a plane who discovered a huge spider out of the window. If you look closely, the spider is stuck in between the windows and is believed to be a pet that made its way out from the cargo compartment to the window. Had it made its way into the flight, it probably would have gotten a bit more dramatic. A crab building a house for itself sounds normal, right? But a crab building a house out of little bubbles of sand, and that too in a few minutes? Sounds crazy, right? Well, that's exactly what the sand bubbler crabs do. They are found in sandy beaches, and not just build themselves a house, but also feed themselves by filtering the sand and leaving little balls of it behind. Now, would you believe a jellyfish taking a ride on a bubble ring? Well, you will soon, because we're about to show it to you. This jellyfish was on its way to some place in the ocean when it came across a giant bubble ring, and it took the wildest ride of its life. Surely an unforgettable experience for the little jellyfish. A random waterfall from the sky such as this looks like a literal case of divine intervention. An unknown source shared a moment showing huge amounts of water falling in just a single spot down from the sky in Ghana, although no one was able to explain the cause of this incredible phenomenon. many people believe it to be a heavy rainfall of some kind. After a closer examination, it was later revealed that it wasn't a rain or waterfall, but rather pressurized water being sprayed into the sky. Brooding might seem like the cause of these whales to remain perfectly stationary in a vertical position, but they're actually sleeping. Patrick Dijkstra found a pod of sperm whales that were in a deep sleep several miles off the coast of the United Kingdom. With whales only known to spend 6% of their entire day sleeping, spotting them napping is quite rare. With the whales having only half of their brain that sleeps and the other half monitoring for threats, they woke up minutes later and started following the diver in curiosity as to why a human was stalking them. In August 2021, this incredible footage of a whale was recorded giving a slight push to the kayakers. Apart from this scenery, where we see the mightiest creature lurking a few inches beneath the kayak, the way it just so lightly touches the boat, as if trying to get the humans to move aside, is a sight to behold. In 2018, a camera placed near the sea recorded some strange things happening. The video appears to be very normal at first, but as time passes, we see a creature appearing out of the water. If you look closely at it, you'll see that it was not one, but two sea serpents which came out of the sea for a few moments, and then went back into it. We're not sure if this video is real or fake, but it does look genuine to me. On a normal day, two men on their kayak were out in the sea, when suddenly their whole life changed. Or maybe ended. A humpback whale suddenly came out of the water and swallowed both of the men along with the kayak and went back into the water. The people were shocked to see what had just happened. But, well, thankfully, the whale later vomited the men out and left them alive and unharmed. Talking about crazy things, the mating of the anglerfish is a must include in the list. Far from normal, anglerfish mate in a very peculiar way, with the male first biting onto the female and then staying there till the time for the mating cycle to begin. The cycle and the whole period is so long that the male becomes a part of the female and releases not just the sperms into the body, but in a way transfuses itself with the female too. It's a little horrifying to tell as the man completely loses itself, giving up all internal and external organs in exchange for the sustenance. Thank you very much for watching the video. Do like and share it with your friends. Subscribe to the channel and hit the bell icon to not miss any of the upcoming amazing videos. Thank you once again.